or observe. When you go back, teach your folks what you have heard. You see, I used to tell us back in the day, and I'm sure Mr. Andy have the same experience. Knowledge is usually paid for. The Bible really references that you should buy the truth, but sell it not. Go and buy it. Go and pay for it, buy it. The reason why you need to buy it so that you can add value. If it will cost you money, you can place emphasis on it. But in this context today, because of the conference, this is coming to us on a platter. And I like you to take it seriously. You might not need it. Some of us who are ministers, but thank God that the majority of people, folks here, are businessmen and women. Please take keen note and do not say this does not apply to me. When you start hearing billions, don't say, oh God, I don't think this man understands. This is not my level yet. It's your level. What is the theme of the conference? What's the theme of the conference? It's time to shift levels. And so if this level you want to shift, it's your choice to determine whether you want to move from Tanzania, like somebody said yesterday. But is there anyone like Tanzania again? Our world is dead. Because 900,000 is not, it can't even pay for rent in Kubwa now. A 2-bedroom flat now is over 1 point something million. Am I correct? I don't know the price of rent anymore, but I'm sure it's within that range. So a Tanzania is not a title. We reject it. Even a millionaire is no longer a title. It's not a title of reference anymore. That's a millionaire. So what? A small girl who just graduated today will get a job and her pay slip end of the month is 1.5 million. When you say you're a millionaire, the question is, what are you talking about? Right. We need to shift to 9 figures. Those of us who are already there, God will shift you higher. In the name of Jesus. Please take your seat. Remember what I taught earlier. I know that many of us already know some of the things that we are saying. Some of the things that Mr. Andy will be saying, I know you know already. But help us to know again. So that you can be better. And you can grow more. So we are going to take a short clip. Just a summarized profile of Mr. Andy. And then once that is done, he will come up and speak. But before then, very quickly, just to introduce him to us. There are people you meet who, by virtue of, by God's mercy, I am blessed of God. And I thank the Lord for the privilege of early blessings upon my life. And I know the nature of who I am. That if I don't tell you the level I am, you will not believe it. If I don't introduce myself to you, you will never know who I am. And I do so intentionally. Shaking his head. I need to tell you who I am. I will never let you know this is my person. When I met him, his simplicity got to me on the spot. That is on the spot. It was on a matter of, he was trying to make something and was doing something and I was right there. And then, as his simplicity, and that day I was so casually dressed that somebody would have just looked at me and said, who is this? But he treated me with such level of courtesy and respect. And I said, no, somebody who doesn't know who I am by identity and could behave in this manner, that's my kind of spirit. And so we got talking and then we just clicked. When we are talking, in fact, when we just pick up the phone, we say, oh boy, how you doing now? Then later he will realize, he said, hey, pastor, how is that? I want you to know the level of simplicity. That this thing called money should not make you proud. The truth of the matter is that truly blessed people are not proud. That is I'm telling you the truth. Oh. If you see anybody proud of money, he's still poor. If he's not poor, he's in debt. Looking for who will bail him out. If you come to him and say, give me 10 billion, you just release it by what he's showing you. Real blessed people, they are not loud. And I saw that in him. I took a personal love for him. And our connection is not just of people knowing each other, but of brothers. And I am proud to have him here today to bring secrets to us on the matter of success. Praise God. So we are going to take that short clip about Mr. Andy Elewere. Actually, his destination is that of a chief. but in the sanctuary here, he is Mr. Andy. So we won't designate him as a chief for today. When we meet outside, we can do all that. So we'll take the clip if they...
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my utmost honor to introduce to you a man whose story is not just one of success, but of vision, resilience, and divine strategy.
Audio.
Mr. Elewere Andrew Lucky is a celebrated entrepreneur, visionary leader, and the founder of IBEN Group, a thriving conglomerate with interests spanning real estate, hospitality, retail, energy, and construction. From very humble beginnings, he built IBEN Group from zero capital to an outstanding 20 billion net asset worth in just 5 years. A remarkable testament to his business acumen, strategic thinking, and supernatural insight. He also holds the rights to some of Nigeria's most recognized trademarks, including IBEN, City Mall, and Bodillion, brands that have become synonymous with innovation, class, and excellence. Mr. Elewere's educational background reflects a rare blend of both Nigerian and international learning, with qualifications in international relations, business administration, strategic management, and leadership, amongst others. His exceptional contributions to business and leadership have earned him numerous local and international awards, affirming his place as one of Africa's rising business icons. Today, he joins us at the 2025 International Conference of Mantles for a special session titled Success Secrets and Supernatural Strategies, to share the principles that turn vision into value and faith into fortune. Ladies and gentlemen, with a standing ovation and a heart full of expectation, please make welcome Mr. Elewere Andrew Lucky.
You have an inheritance from your dad or from your family, and at the end of the day you become successful. Some people also think that it's something you can do with a lot of prayers and fasting, and then boom, you just become successful. Why some also feel in Africa here, they feel it's something if you go to one babalawo and then talk to him about what you want to become, and then he gives you something, and then you are successful. So there are different spheres or different lenses you can look at success from. But I want to tell you something today. One little secret. It might look very little, but to me, that is everything you need to know about success. It's just one line, just a cliche, a phrase, if you like, that you need to hold very tightly. Resonate on it. Let it guide you. And then that will be your walkthrough right from the bottom to the ladder. Through the ladder to the top to becoming a successful person. Very simple. Never give up. Never you give up. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to be talking about my life, story of my life. As a young man in Lagos, I came from a family of about 9, and my dad, he has a different perception about life. Today, looking back, some of the things he did, I won't blame him. But to be honest with you, it wasn't fair to us. Neglected us. Did all what he could do. I had to fend for myself. In fact, at the age of 14, I became the breadwinner of my family. I had to do virtually everything that needed to be done. Feed myself as a little boy, fend for my mother, look after my sibling who largely were ladies, protecting them and then going all out to ensure that they fit. So basically, I hawked everything. Everything. In fact, the things I didn't hawk were just few things that I think maybe maybe some things that you can. I virtually hawk everything. In Lagos then, when I was growing up, there's something we call enyawo, guinea fowl egg. Yes, I hawk it through the go slow. Pure water. In fact, I was a master. Anything you can think of that today might look very derogatory or undermining was what I was doing then, just to survive. So that's why today there is no excuse. I don't accept any excuse you bring before me because I've seen it all. So as a little boy, I went through the gutters. My story is that of nothing to something, zero to hero, and then, of course, grass to grace. It was pretty very hard in Lagos. Just imagine you have a family of 9, and then you have a mother who is an illiterate, or who was an illiterate, because I lost my mother already. And then no support from anywhere. We had to literally, do whatever we can just to survive. But there's something that I could really, really notice then was that I never gave up. I have always had this die-hard spirit in me when I was growing up. So all through while I was in Ife, I was the one that took care of my schooling, everything. I had to leave school to go and hawk, to do this, do whatever I could do. So that spirit, that die-hard spirit was there. I had a very strong resilience, and that has been with me till date. So it's just something that you need to understand, that there is no excuse that is acceptable, that is tenable, or that can be said to be accepted for not succeeding. You want to succeed, you have to be highly, highly focused, and then you need to be very determined. Left school, 2002, and then straight up, of course, I tried to get a job, just like any other young graduates. It was pretty difficult. Same challenges I had to face. Of course, if you had to survive through those kind of means, There's just no way it won't have impact on maybe your schooling, your results, and all of that. So getting a job was a matter of, I was like going through the eye of a needle. It was very difficult. I recall in Unilag, a certain time, I went for a job audition. It was UBA then. When I stormed the venue, the interviewers, upon seeing the crowd, had to just bail out. It was that difficult. And then I started asking myself, was this exactly what I wanted? Can't I start something small on my own? And then just like that, I started building that inner feelings about doing something on my own. Of course, it wasn't easy. Normally, when you want to start business, everything will be against you, starting with your family. You can never do it now. You want to start business. What do you know about business? Number one, you probably cannot afford training. So whether it's online or physical. And then number two, you don't have startup capital. And then no bank give people who are just starting money. It's not just in Nigeria, it's everywhere in the world. Nobody is going to give upstart money. So the question is that how you start, because you have to start anyway. So I had all the challenges you can ever think of. But something keep popping up, which is never give up. I was committed to it. I knew that was the only way, because if I didn't do what I had to do, then I would be faced with just to remain down forever. Because my dad wasn't there. If I look back today and then I say, look, I always tell people that your worst enemy, those who were not there for you when you were starting, when you were trying to start something, I think you should be grateful to them, because they are the catalyst you need or you needed to fuel your success. You needed people to say no to you. You needed people to kick you out. You needed people to persecute you. You needed people to undermine you, to say derogatory things about you, to tell you you can never do it. And then that will bring the inner spirit. I would have been more relaxed, and then I won't have that zeal, that needed courage for me to move on. So there were a lot of things that I had to face, as a young man who is trying to start business. So many things. There was no money. So you can't come and tell me, look, okay, I want to start business, and then I need money. Okay, I can't get capital now, so how do I start? Today we have built a business. I think I saw something they wrote there. That's not too correct, because our capital base right now is over $500 million. We are spread right from real estate to hospitality. We are building 3 major hotels in Abuja alone. We have invested in so many other businesses. We have over 20-something estates. We are building a city. We are doing so much, and to the glory of God. But it wasn't something that we just woke up and then boom, we got to where we are. We went through a whole lot. Those things you are thinking in your mind that will never be able to make you want to get up or to start, we also went through it. I was trying to say something in my intro that a lot of people would say, look, mind him, he has the inheritance from his father. That's why he's successful. Or he's just lucky. It's not true. Everyone who has succeeded in whatever he's doing, pastor can bear me witness, must have that spirit of resilience. They have gone through one form of hurdle or another. And I tell you, the story is not ended yet. For me, I'm still facing my hurdles. In spite of the fact that we are at this level, because you keep evolving. It's not like it's going to stop. Those challenges will come, but it's going to now metamorphose from one phase to another. There's what they call hustling in an AC. You hustle, you are already in your Bentley, but you are hustling. That's another kind of hustle. So, but it never will stop. It will continue in that phase. So, whatever phase you are in, just know that the hustle continues. So, back to where I was talking about, starting. Because that's probably one of the most difficult things to do. People will tell you, how do you start? Elijah, you can't walk. I've not, like me, before I started real estate, I've never laid a block. I've never got a contract in construction. I've never done anything. My father never built a house. But today, you mentioned one of the 10 largest real estate in Abuja. We are one of them. So what I'm saying, basically, is that it's something that you too can do it. If I could, you can. If I could, you can. Somebody say you can. It's not difficult. But it takes some discipline. The spirit of never say die. The spirit of never give up. You have to be committed. You need to have that resilience. And then you need to be focused. Mustn't be real estate. Today we are talking about real estate. Perhaps because it's our forte, is what I have been doing. And I'm going to share you. Don't worry, we'll get to that part. I will unveil the secret of how you can be. My greatest joy will be that when next I'm opportune to be here again, I want to see us have some real estate upstarts. Anybody say, I want to be a real estate guru? So, if you are here today, this is your chance. Okay, so for me, I came with a night boss in Abuja. When we started in Lagos, not with real estate, in the media, and then at some point, things started getting tricky. You know how it is with business. Sometimes it can be like, this is like a wave. At a point, it will be like you want to quit. The whole world is against you. You have gone here, you submitted this, they chase you out. What are you doing? Then we're doing real estate. We're doing Surulere Watch in Lagos. We're not into real estate. We're into media. Today, Surulere Watch still exists, but it's something that we're doing then at that level. But it was very difficult. Extremely difficult. So just like with many businesses too. And then at some point, I decided that, look, there's a level you get to in life. You look ahead and say, this is my vision. How can I attain this vision? Maybe I need to change things. Because for you to get a different result, you need to change your strategy. So we're literally struggling at that level in Lagos. We're crawling, but we're struggling. But we never stop. We never gave up. So you can see that all the story I'm telling you, something keep resonating, which is this never give up spirit. You'll understand it well why I said it is the major thing. Number one secret. Because you will be tested. In fact, people will say all manners of things. The man who invented bulb, the owner of General Electric, Edison, if he had given up today, we won't have bulb. Elon Musk, who brought the idea of electric car, when he was doing it then, people thought he was crazy. But look at it. The electric car is the future. And innovations will never stop. It's just for you to carve a niche for yourself and then build on it and continue to do something. There's always something new to do. Before he came into the space of internet, there was internet. But today he has taken it to another level. Elon Musk, through his SpaceX. We now have internet limitlessly. Thanks to him. So, the truth is that those people, all of them, and it has nothing to do with school. I always tell people, education, for me, definition of education is something as long as that makes you rational. Once you are rational, you are educated. You mustn't be rational through a formal means. So you can get educated through formal or informal. We have a lot of people who never saw the 4 walls of school, but today they are rich. Because you know why? They have a rational mindset. It has nothing to do. Many of these guys who are I was speaking to some senators who were in the, but I realized that all of them, this is off record. You know, they were trying to also strangulate or, you know how it is in Nigeria. But at the end of the day, we've gone to China back and forth. Today, that project is going to see the light of day because of that resilience. Set a very tall order for yourself, something taller than you can ever imagine. Focus on it, put your eye up, and then move. A lot of things. I've always told people, capital is nothing. Capital is even secondary. Don't worry, I'm going to share the secret with you, how you can start with nothing. You don't need money to start. Yes, and that's the beautiful part. So, in 2008, finally I left Lagos with a night bus. And not just a night bus, I stood in the bus. I don't know how many people can stand. How many people can stand in the bus from Lagos to Abuja? That was what I did. Chisco, I remember very well then. Came to Abuja. I think it was the second time. My intention was to see if I could travel abroad. Just like any other person, I was almost tired. I said, look, because you will be tested. It will get to a point where you will almost want to give up. But you know what beautiful things about God? That is the point where change wants to happen. When it's about time, when you want to give up, when it looks like you are down, and then you are probably not going to have a headway, that is when your glory is coming. So, follow my instinct, left Lagos, came to Abuja. Abuja, of course, gave me new opportunities compared to Lagos. Lagos was already saturated, highly competitive, hustling. Abuja, more serene, more calm. And then he unveils a new opportunity for me. So, you see, as you continue to be focused on what you want, that's why God is always a miraculous God. He will always play his own part while you play yours. Somehow he will direct your step. You don't have to struggle for it. Whether good or bad, even when things are, it is, even when those bad things, you also need it. Those rejections, you also need them to get to the point where you are going. So I left Lagos, came, joined the Sun newspaper. I did well. But one thing I noticed again is that for everything you find your hand doing, do it well. Your own part, do it well, oh, because people are watching. You won't know. So at the end of the day, I joined the Sun newspaper. I had a stint with them for about 2 years or so. That little time, I also did my part. And then from there, I got hooked up with Real Estate Developers Association. I was covering housing. People have asked me this. I've told this story severally, how I connected into real estate. So it wasn't meant to be real estate. Don't just think I woke up and say I want to be, a real estate developer. So I started covering housing, Ministry of Housing. And then that was my first contact with developers. To be honest with you, I see them as someone who is very strange. Because I can't imagine somebody building houses when I know how difficult it is to build one. And then somebody says, look, he has 1,000 houses, 1,500. It's crazy. It's unimaginable. It's unbelievable, isn't it? So, but that was what happened. I kept looking at them. I said, these guys are so kind. These are big guys. These are big. That was then. No, but that's the truth. And then for me, I got into it. But while I was doing that, I was also picking interest. And then I realized that, look, I saw some very young guys who also had a bit of humble background. I said, these guys are not, it's like they are not angels. Who, after all, they are normal people like me. So Andy, don't you think that you have to watch and then understudy these guys very well? There might just be something that they are doing that you are not aware. And then if you do it, you can then join them. So I knew that I had that at the back of my mind. So I became friendly with some of them. That's what I'm saying. You also have to be smart. Very smart. Know what you want and then be focused. So I got close to some of them and then they could see that spirit of openness in me. That's one thing about me too. It's also important to have integrity. Speak from your heart. Don't be too smart, because some people don't like people who wants to know everything in the first day. And then you get to meet someone, you're asking this, you're asking that. Be ready to also sacrifice. Patience. It's, so I did 3 years with Redan. I wasn't paid a kobo. I don't know how many people can work for 3 years without being paid. Yes, that was what I did. For 3 years, I worked in a place just to get this information I'm talking about. Because my own, it was that, okay, if I got closer to these people, and then I got to know and share their secrets, so what else? That's enough for me. So that is the sacrifice. While I kept my eyes on the ball. And then somehow, my moment came. Your moment will come. There is no way. That's one beautiful thing about God. As soon as he sees your hard work, your tenacity, he will drop that moment for you. He will. So while I was doing all that, I didn't know some people were taking notes. They were watching, and then they could see the character in me. People are going to see it. They will see through you and then see your heart and see who you are. When you speak, people know indeed how your heart is. You can fool some people, but you can't fool them all the time. And then somehow an opportunity came. The first man I approached, Platinum Savings, the brother, I approached him, and then I told him, look, there's an opportunity. I would want him to be part of this opportunity. Somebody gave me this land. And then before I could finish talking, he said, I'm ready. How much are we talking about? I didn't have a kobo. And then I told him, I was still looking at him because I in my mind, I was to say, look, this guy was not going to bring this money. No need. But let me tell him anyway. I told him, and then maybe if I by the time I tell one or two other people, but for him, I saw him as someone who was conservative, who was very, uptight. But lo and behold, in fact, each time we talk today, he will always tell me he didn't know what happened. He just didn't know. Do you know, right there and then he brought out a check. And then he gave his own equity. And that was the equity that formed the basis for who we are today. You need one chance. When that chance comes, never you blow it off. I knew it was my chance. I was going to die with it. It was either I die with this chance or I succeed with it. And then I took that chance with so much tenacity. The guy was, when he saw the whole thing in me, the next day I gave him accounts. The next day I was so open and so gracious to God, to him. And then there was no any hanky-panky. Boom, with the experience I already have, with the friends I have in the industry, I started my own. And then that's why I always tell people, it's not how far, but it's how well. You don't have to say that, look, those who are your friends have gone very far. When I came out, I didn't get a job. So my friends who got a white-collar job then, who got a 9-to-5 job, today they rely on me to do things, within our set. But of course, I didn't have a job as at that early time before I formed my own business. I struggled for almost 10 years. So it doesn't matter. It is how well. It is not how far. I got that seed, and then fast forward to just 3-4 years, I became the Lord, the King of the Rings. Yes, because I knew it was my chance, and I was ready to die with it. And then once I had it, I became so tight with it. I said, this one, I go grow. And then one way or the other, I started evolving. We brought a lot of innovations. One thing led to another. I was able to do my own business. But I came up with a whole lot of innovations. And that's the smartness. I now realize that this is my forte, so I was so focused on it. As soon as I got my seed, I started transforming myself, building the blocks, reaching out to people for knowledge, and then doing collaborations, and that was it. The rise was so fast that people began to notice me in the industry. What's going on? This young man. Nothing was going to stop me because I knew it was my chance. Came up with all manners of my own concept and idea of how I was going to do it. And then that was how we started building IBEN. Yes, we are not completely there with the vision, but I think today, to the glory of God, we have been able to do so well for ourselves that we now have a brand that we can sit down. We don't literally have to go to the bank anymore. We can sit down and then raise whatever capital we want to do for any business. Just last week here, something came up and then we needed to raise 17 billion naira. At that point, in fact, severally we have tested the brand. Because once you build that brand and then you build it to a certain level, the brand will start working for itself. Once you have built a brand, that integrity is there, people believe in you. Of course, we have a lot of people who have money. They just want a platform. They are only looking for a platform where they can bring their money. We have so many of them. So all I do now is to just pick up my phone and then make 1, 2, 3, 4 calls. The money is out. No banks. Yeah. Myself and my partner, we raised the money within 4 days. And you know the funny thing? My phone was not there. Yeah, that is it. So, it's something that you can do, but you need to you can see the whole thing. You need to have that never quit spirit, and then be focused. So when you get to the point where you have decided on what you want to do, whether it's real estate, like I said, or hospitality, or services, or banking, or whatever, even farming, whatever sector you want to go into. And then the first thing, if you start doubting yourself, that is the beginning of failure. Because if you don't have self-worth, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody is going to believe in you. In our industry, what we basically do is to sell what we will buy. Anything I cannot buy, I don't sell. Anything I can't eat, I don't give out. I build the houses as though I was going to live there. So it's important that you satisfy your customers. I recall in those days when we were starting, very important too. We never put profit in front. In fact, let me shock you. Chase other things, money will chase you. So in this line of business, your focus must be customer satisfaction. While people in Lugbe then they were trying to sell their house, they delineate the land into parcel and then they are just thinking of how they will mark up and then sell their house. We were busy beautifying our estate, making sure that they are very good, they are coming out good. And then we didn't even have a marketing department and we're selling. So because people now see that they can trust you with their investment. Because nobody wants to spend money and not get value for it. So once people notice that you are creating value, they will come. So chase prestige, chase premium, chase those things and leave profit will come. If you want to do a project, first of all, think of how you will glorify that project. Think of how you are going to add, how much value you are going to add to that project. Once you've thought about that thoroughly, then leave the profit thing. Profit will come. In fact, profit will be times 3. But by the time you start, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you shouldn't optimize your investment. What I'm saying literally is that the first thing should be ensuring to add value. And then profit will come. So that has been our concept, our model all along. Until today, that's what we still apply. We apply the principle of value adding. Leave out the profit. Profit will come later. When you build a community of people who are satisfied, you have built the greatest asset, which is goodwill. People don't understand. They measure money in terms of tangible amount you have in your bank. No, you don't measure people like that. I recall, how many of you know that Dangote sometimes will have to approach a bank for an IOU of 100 million? he doesn't have money that day. He needs to go to the bank. He will call to get an IOU of 100. There are times when I need to get 5 million naira I don't have. There are times, in fact, Elon Musk, recently I listened to him. He said that there are times he needed to he will check his bank account and realize that he only has $50 million. That's the richest man in the world. Yes. But don't get it twisted. Their assets is not in the monetary value, but it's in the goodwill. I just told you I raised 7. Myself and partner, we raised 17, but we didn't have money. But we had something greater than money, which was goodwill. So when you have a goodwill, there is no amount of money or business or height you cannot get to. Simple. And that should be your focus. How do you build goodwill? You build it through resilience, through qualitative service, through integrity, through good formations with people, and then following through your words. Your words should be your bound. Because people are watching you. So, whatever business you want to get into, when you must have thought about it, do I have passion for this thing? Very important. Is this something I want to do? Would I like people to identify me with this thing? Do I have the knowledge, the capacity, the wherewithal to do this? Can I gain more knowledge if I don't have? Is this something I would like to do? You're in a public engagement and then you say, look, can I really, so all those questions, if you've answered it within yourself, and then you have now agreed that, look, I want to be a fashionista. I want to be a real estate guru. Then the next thing you should ask yourself is that, how do I start? So you see now, the point A is deciding on what to do. Very important. And I'll encourage you that one of the criteria you use in justifying what to do is the amount of knowledge or contact or network that you have in that thing. So in other words, what I'm saying is that you don't wake up one day and say, look, I want to be this, without having a little bit of background, because things are really evolving these days, and it's evolving very fast. You get, if you don't, nobody has time. If you don't optimize yourself, they don't leave you go. So you are getting into that kind of world where your corporate existence depends on your model, the things you are able to offer. It's not about who you are anymore. It's about what you can offer. That is what makes you succeed. So when you must have decided on what to do, the next thing is, how do I raise money? There are several ways to raise money. For instance, in real estate, there are several ways. But one very key thing, especially when you are starting, because when you talk about upstarts, don't get it twisted. Nobody's going to give you money. Your uncle will not give you. Don't come and blame your uncle, or you break village witch and say, look, I'm trying to get money. I've tried, I've dreamt, I've done. Nobody. It's meant to be difficult. If it was meant to be easy, everybody would have been rich. If you say, look, I wake up in the morning, I just brush my teeth, and then I eat my breakfast, boom, I become a billionaire. Would you like that kind of world? No, let's be honest. So it's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be very difficult. And it's so difficult everywhere in the world. In fact, Jack Ma said something when he was applying for a job in KFC. He had done everything he needed to do. And then at the last point, 24 of them applied. At that last day, they took 23. Only him again was not taken. And then the man was like, he looked at himself and said, is it my stature? What is really going on? Why is it everybody's rejecting me? But he didn't know that he needed to be rejected for him to be successful. But that's by the way. What I'm basically saying is that for you to be able to decide on what you want to do, you need to have a bit of knowledge in that thing you want to do. So what I did was that, like I told you, I was covering housing. From housing, I developed some passion. And then I have a knowledge, a deep root information about real estate. And then from there, people were studying. When I spoke then, I was speaking real estate, even when I didn't get into it. So you see, I was already building that momentum. So it's important, you too, if you were to get into any profession or any business whatsoever, you need to be knowledgeable. Because you have to offer me something. If you want to get into my world now, my space, that's already saturated, You need to come up with something. If you don't have money, then come up with knowledge. There must be something you are offering. You cannot just walk into, nobody will say, look, because I'm a Yoruba man, and then you are a Yoruba man, or because I'm an Igbo man. In fact, once you are, in Nigeria, once you have different tribe, once you have the same tribe, that's even where you will get hated more. So there's no sentiment. I'll tell you, even within the pastor kingdom, pastor will tell you, competition is everywhere. That's just the word. The race to heaven is also competition. It's there. Because everybody is also struggling. Otherwise, people can just say and say, look, I'm waiting for that day. They will just take me to heaven. It doesn't work that way. You have to earn it. Pastor, is it not true? You need to earn a place in heaven. So you need to work to earn somewhere. You must earn everything you want to do. So when you must have decided, and then you have passion for what you want to do, forget about money first. It's not about money. It's about you deciding within yourself, is this what I want to do? Am I ready for it? And then the next phase will be that, yes, of course you need money. And then you need to ask that fundamental question. How do I get this money? So if you are going to go for loan, you have failed from the beginning. Don't near loan as an upstart. Loan is not for those who are starting very small. I will always encourage people, if you want to start any business, don't go for loan in your first attempt. Maybe second, third, you can. But the tendency, the propensity of you not being able to pay back that loan is very high. You're getting into it because, of course, you don't know what to expect. It's just a new market for you. What you need to do first is to form healthy alliances. Be ready to serve people who you mentor. If you want to, even in church, if you must be able to, if you want to succeed, go and see all those who have succeeded who are big pastors today. At some point, they also serve. So that is like that with business as well. You must be ready to serve. And then, in the course of service, if you walk up to my office today and then you say, look, I want to be a real estate. I've studied some people. I know this person. I know this person. I know this brand. I've read about them on the internet. Okay, but how do I get across to him? I want to get close to him. I want to tell him that I can. The only way to do that is to have something you want to offer me, isn't it? And then along the line, you read about some of the things we are selling or some of the things we have. Sit down and say, look, I can do this thing in another way. If this man is selling 10 plots or 10 houses for XYZ, what if I go and negotiate with them that I want to buy 20? You don't have money, sure you know. But you already have that thinking. Forget about money first. You assume that class. And again, you must talk big and feel big and act big. Act like you already have it. Wear your best suit. And then probably put one of the hands in one of your suit. And then you come in and then you ask, can I see the head of marketing? I have an offer for you. Everybody begin to run up and down. We have got an offer. And then somebody come, are you the head of marketing? I need to speak with the head of marketing. It's very important. But the head of marketing is not around. You can talk to me. No, I need to speak with him. You insist. When will he be around? He won't be around until afternoon. I'll wait. Or I'll come back. And then eventually you secure your meeting with him. And then you start telling him your offer. And I learned you guys have this. I have a group of people. No, you don't have yet too. But you assume some of these things and then you broker a deal. Because you need to get what you want to sell first before you look for the buyer. Isn't it? So by the time you now strike that deal, we are seeing a lot of people who do that. And then the deal becomes so good. The head of marketing will tell you, okay, wait, you know what? At this point, come and see the MD. And then, lo and behold, you walk into my office. And then we shake hands. Sit down. How are you? My name is this. I'm the MD of so. That's how you are going to introduce yourself. Maybe you don't have a company yet. It doesn't matter. You already have a name in your heart. My name is this. I'm the MD of so. I saw what you people are selling, and I have an offer for you. Told the head of marketing, but he's saying I should see you. Okay. What do you want to do with us? Of course, instinctively they will ask you. Some people will ask you, have you a developer, what project have you done before, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm into real estate marketing. I have some people who are interested in what you are selling. Okay. And then the next thing, you say, okay, if you do this, I can give you, and then we broker a deal. And you live there, the next thing is to create your own style. You have a real estate, that is how to start. And then lo and behold, you tenaciously look for people who are going to take up that offer that you have gotten, because you have gotten a deal. A deal far better than whatever they are selling. And then from there, it might not be easy, but you have to be committed. That is where the spirit of that never say die spirit will come. So you are not expected to get it in the first go. You are not expected to get it the next month. But you stay on course. And then you also have to reach out to people. Assume like you already have a deal. And then you reach out to people. Trust me, you will get one chance. That one chance is going to come. Where somebody is going to say, okay, but by the time you say something over and over again, and then you look it, you act it, the next thing they will say is, okay, that's fine, but I'm not going to pay to you because I don't know you. I want to pay to IBEN. You have gotten a deal. You have gotten a deal with IBEN, you have gotten a deal with these people. So the next thing is to now connect the dots. And then, boom, you have your first money. Usually, most developers don't like to pay commissions. Not all of them. They will rather you, so if you, rather than collecting the commission, let's say you have a commission of 10 million, and then you tell the developer, look, I want just 2 million. The 8 million naira, I want to reinvest it to your company. And I have so. Before you know what's happening, you have started. Gradually, you start forming the blocks. As you are doing that, you are also digging deep into knowledge about the industry. Because you have a contact with the MD now, you can even send him a text. See what I heard about the industry. Maybe he's not even aware. He'll be like, really? And then you call you have become friends. So gradually like that, you start. That's if you don't have at all. Once you build that, the next thing to do is to begin to look for partners. There are other ways too. If you don't want to go through this route, if you have a bit of friends who you know they are a bit, it depends. If you are I'm talking about people who don't have anything at all. Because I wanted to start at that level that you don't have at all. But most times it's not always like that. It's always about people who can also connect with some other people, form them together. Because that's what usually happens. All the people who have succeeded, they always have that people they call together. They call them and say, look, let's form this. So in fact, right now in the industry, what we do is alliances. Nobody can, because in this era now that we have, in an FCT for instance, we don't do area council anymore. So it has to be FCT. FCT is very expensive to do a CFO land. To do a CFO land by yourself, and they don't do small land again. So they do big land these days. And for you to acquire big land, you also need alliances from people. So the success of, or the possibility of you doing project now depends on the alliances you have been able to form and how qualitative those alliances are. So the same thing at that level when you are starting. When you are starting, you need to reach out to people who have like minds, who share the same vision with you, who wants to also think like you, wants to grow like you. Yes, the place of prayer is there, but I tell you, prayer without work can't work. I tell you. In fact, I will tell you that God irritates God. Yes. Because he's cheating. People are working, you are praying. And then you are not working. You have to combine both. Both must work in hand. Both of them. Both of them must come together for you to be able to get what you want. And that's when God will be pleased with you. So at that point, like I told you, everybody has their own moment. Once you begin to now speak and act like it in that industry, you begin to connect the dot with people that matter, those who have succeeded, one way or the other, your own break is going to come. I've never seen a man who consistently does something and then does it very well and he doesn't succeed in it. I've never. All the people you see who have not succeeded are people who went out of the way, who could not get to the finish line. For some reasons, they are resilient, burnt out. As they are doing it, the obstacle kept coming. Of course, it depends because there are more people with more obstacles on their way. You know, the things they throw on their way is too much. But I tell you, there's nothing that is too much. There is no way it's too much because you can imagine Jesus Christ. How many people have that kind of resilience in this life? Somebody who can just do like this and everybody will just disappear. And then they treated him with such level of disgust. He was just calm as ever. So he has shown us that no matter the challenges you are going through, him, your Godfather, has went through much more worse things, and then so there's no excuse for you. So that's how it is in business. So in business, basically, it's all about you. And then you have to form like minds. You don't have to, because they say iron sharpened iron. You don't have to be in the midst of people who will tell you you can't make it, or you can't do it, or who always find fault in you. What if you now put the money and then the person will now take the money run? What if you now cannot see him again? What if the person, it's always what if. If you buy this thing now, and then what if tomorrow doesn't come? And then you wake up, no tomorrow, or the man has died. So risk too is important. So your risk appetite also will determine how far you are going to go. It's very key that you should be ready to take calculated risk. It's part of it. It's part of the game, risk. So for us, what we have done and what we are still doing is all about risk. Because most of these things, we pay them in hard currencies, but at the end of the day, they are all calculated risk. So today, as difficult as the industry is, as the economy, as volatile as the economy is, we still have businesses that are thriving. And those businesses that are thriving on the basis of risk-taking. Banks everywhere. Everybody in every business, whether corporate, they take risk. So you too should be ready, and then don't be too negative. Don't be too pessimistic. It's not going to happen. What if I wake up tomorrow and then the next thing the guy has died? What will happen to my money, the little money I'm saving? No, it doesn't work like that. Seek knowledge. Once you seek the knowledge, form the alliances, and then the next thing is for you to take your chance. So in real estate, as it concerns Abuja, there are wonderful opportunities that are open to everybody right about now. It's an industry that is really thriving. It's an industry that can metamorphose, that can transform your life from nothing to something. I'll encourage you, if you have passion for it, please go for it. For some of you who are here who have that passion, who wants to go into real estate, my brand will be very ready to support you. As much as we will be ready, you too have to be ready. Be ready to the extent that you have to be ready to give it all. If you don't have money, bring contacts. So there must be something you are bringing to the table. But trust me, we will be there for you. We will be able to walk with you to a level where you can become a bit stable. But everybody must not do real estate. And it doesn't matter whatever profession you have chosen. Like I said, whether it's fashion, whether it's banking. And to be honest too, 9-to-5 job, there's nothing wrong too. Career service. Some people also succeed in career, but for those who succeed in career jobs are those who know that whatever they are earning, they don't finish it in one soup. They have to create some, they leave out some for reinvestment. A lot of people who are in civil service or private jobs who are doing well are people who have side hustles. Are people who are able to create things within whatever they have earned, they are able to. So they don't just stay on their work and then they don't want to take it. People are very funny. They don't want to take risk. The reason why many people get into 9-to-5 job is because they don't like to take risk. But if you have that, for you to succeed as an individual, you must have that appetite for risk. So even when you are working, put your heads to the ground. Whether within your own organization, if you have a brand, and then this is what you guys are doing, learn it properly. Know that, look, my time is limited here. I need to also set up my own. As you are thinking in that line, okay, also think of another line. Okay, you see another thing that you prefer. In that thing, put the money, put it there as you are doing it. And then once you see that you have gained some bit of stability, don't be too scared to leave. Those who succeed are those who live. If you stay, you can only get to improve your lot, but you will never be able to be successful. If you really want to be wealthy, if you want to be successful, then you have to pay the price. The price is that you have to be ready to persevere. You have to be ready to take risk, and you have to be ready to live. I've seen someone who said, look, I can't leave my job. Where am I going to get another one? Where do I feed my family? Where do I do this? And then he wants to die put on that job. So set a limit for yourself. Like I said, there's nothing wrong in working. But you need to know that it's just a means to an end. So you need to begin to create something that can exit you into your own platform. Because time is of essence. Before you say Jack Robinson, and then when you get to a certain age, there are some businesses you can't do again. That's the truth. There are some businesses that they call them, it's a journey of a lifetime. These businesses will. In fact, something happened. Let me just say this before I wrap up. Earlier this year, I started having these feelings that, look, I think I've done well for myself. Is it not about time that I needed to start winding up? Don't know where that devilish thought came from. And I started thinking that, look, I'm going to be 50 in about 1 or 2 years. I think I should slow down. I've had this, I've had that, I've had that. So people were bringing business. I remember one of my, because that's another thing. Once you're a brand, they will, as I'm coming, every day, every hour, people call. If you go to my office, they are bringing things. So they are going to bring things for you once you build that brand. Now we are the owners of Bodylon Hotels and Apartments. We delve into a hotel, and then the first thing I told the GM of the hotel is that, look, I like money, but I'm not after the money. What I want from you now, he was shocked when I told him. I said, what I want from you is excellence service. No money, don't worry, the money will come. In fact, before you pay me or pay anybody, the board of management, first of all, repair whatever repairs is on ground. I have never gotten involved in a brand that fails. Because I know very well that the way to succeed in any business is for you to have customer satisfaction. So we have 3 projects, 3 hotels that before we just started 2 that are already running. So if you go to any of our hotels now and then you come in, very palatial place, you will see that excellence. And I told them, look, don't worry about me. Maintain the excellence. Don't come and give me money yet. I need money, I like money, but not now. What we need first is to build our brand. Because I wonder how much you are going to give me that people will come, hotel of 60-something, 100-something rooms, and then, okay, yes, to get daily money, but that is not what I'm looking for. And then my GM will just be shocked most times. Okay, what do we do? In fact, I tell you, if people are too many in this hotel and everywhere is food, I will be angry with you. Yes. What I want you to do is, first of all, ensure that everywhere is as the way I gave you. Everything must be on point. Because for me, it's not 16 billion. Will hotel give you, how many years will hotel give you 16 billion naira? How many rooms? So you see the concept. He uses that hotel for loan. He uses it to as a prototype to build other hotels for other people who will come and see the excellence in that hotel. So that is the thinking. So you don't have to follow the crowd and say, look, this is what it should be. No. You carve a niche for yourself and then stay on it. Just realize that the funds will come. So in whatever profession you want to do, in whatever means, there is just nothing you have decided or put your heart to that you want to do that you cannot succeed in. It depends on you. How many of us know that in abroad, there is no profession that is less? There's no profession. Some people, what they do is animal feed. So what it means is that all their own business is around creating food for animals. And today, they are global icon. So what I'm saying literally is that there is just nothing that is less. Anything you have decided to do, you can be the best in it. And you can still succeed in it. So it doesn't matter. It mustn't be real estate. It mustn't be real estate services. Anything at all that you sit down, close your eyes, think, and then feel it. Okay, so my dad was a carpenter, and then I've always been in the carpentry shop. I think I've learned a bit of skills in that. How can I improve on it? Today, how many of us are aware that furniture, like in those days when we say carpenter, we call them carpenter in those days, and then they build this akpoti, this thing they sit on. That's what they do. But how many of us are aware that today our furniture people are competing with China? In fact, let me tell you, it doesn't make sense now to go and buy furniture abroad. And the Chinese people know. In fact, we don't dust them. Any of these big hotels you see are furnished by us and with us and for us. It was done for us. I spoke to one of the MDs the other day. I said, there are some industries today that it's evolving small. All of the industry. There are some industries today that they are now Nigerians. Don't even fool yourself. Don't begin to say, I would prefer China, I would prefer Turkey, Europe. Gone are those days. If a Nigerian furniture, and it doesn't have to be Julius Berger, it doesn't have to be any of these big AFP, it doesn't have to be them. If a Nigerian furniture industry company makes furniture or furnish your hotel, you'll be shocked. If you compare it side by side with what is furnished abroad, so that is it. And then carpentry. Is it not carpentry we know in those days? But look at how they have transformed the business, how they have been able to clean it up, brand it, and they are doing so well. So it's just one of so many that anything you find your hand doing, anything at all you want to do, you can succeed in it, you can be great in it, you can get to whatever height you want to get to. It mustn't be real estate. But I'm just telling you because as the speaker of this conference here, because what I do is real estate. That's why I'm opening that opportunity for those who want to get into real estate. But it doesn't mean that you cannot do other things and succeed in them and do very well. So on the final note, you too can create your own story. And your story, know very well that it's not going to be a story of ease. One that you can just say, look, bread and butter, bed of roses. It's also going to be a story of resilience, struggle, and then growth. As you struggle, because people, trust me, once you decide that this is what you want to do, that is when the challenges will come. If you haven't decided, they won't come and see. But once you decide and say, look, okay, I am now ready, this is what I want to do, that is when your friend will tell you, what do you say you want to do? You. Hey! You want to do real estate? Now, let's talk another thing. How can you say you want to do real estate? But I want to do real estate. Am I not somebody who can do? Am I not a Nigerian? You're not going to do people when they do. Yes, you're going to have that. Some people will come to you and say, look, don't even dare, don't go there, don't mess yourself up. You know, a lot of them, all these real estate people, they are criminals. You think that you don't know anything, you know what they do. A lot of them are jazz, they have. Yes. Those are the discouragement they are going to give you. They will come and tell you stories about those who have succeeded, paint them like people who are one special thing that they do that makes them succeed. How many of us know that those who find it difficult to do things, they always have this mentality about those who have succeeded as lucky or as people who do some very funny shit things. I used to be like that too. I leave them. I beg, make we do on our own, because you know go fit do anything that they do. Not true. I can tell you, it's not true. It's not true. It's about you. The people who have succeeded, and it doesn't even have to be education. Yes, I'm educated, but we have a lot of people who are not well educated, but they are rational. They are educated. You know, I told you, I said, look, education is being rational in whatever you are doing. Your ability to be rational in what you are doing makes you educated. Yes, you don't have to be in the 4 walls of a school to be educated. In fact, these days, we have people who are even clamoring that, look, are we sure that the 4 years, 5 years we spend in school is really worth it? Go to the internet, you'll see that. They are beginning to question that theory that, look, must we go to school and learn? And that's why you see many of the countries are adopting different models of schooling. Some people will say, I was reading something about farming. Say, look, why are Nigerians not succeeding in farming? And then because farming is something that is so good. You know, because you just throw a corn on the ground and then it grows. And then it germinates, and then, why is it that we are not even going into farming? So I decided to take that research on my own. You know, the thing is that these days, things are so easy. All you need to just go on the YouTube. You learn everything you want to learn. And trust me, don't come and say, you know, some people say, it's just YouTube now. If I'm ready, I'll have to go to, now YouTube, YouTube not going to give me what I need to go and see if it's a lie. You can learn everything on. And then you tell somebody, look, if you tell somebody that, look, I have a master class in this, I lie, on YouTube. And you can get them. So, that farming, I began to study American farmers who have become global farmers. People will be in Kansas or Texas or somewhere far away, and they will feed the whole world. There's a farming company in China. They are the only people that feed more than 60% of Chinese from their farm. In fact, the story of the Israelites farming is so fascinating that you have just a square meter like this can feed a whole country. Then what could be the problem? Why is it that people are not going to farming? You know, you begin to look at it. That's one area I've continued to look at. That why? Then I realized that, okay, it's a bit susceptible to issues in Nigeria, maybe because of our laws, because of our weathers, because of insecurity, because of so many things, land space, whether indeed. But there's something I now later found out about what they are doing that makes them different. But I also think that we are doing it here, but in a nomad way. Just a very nomadic way here. Do you know that in abroad, in America, most of those big farmers, they don't go to school. Just like here. They do their own school within their own farm. So when they have their kids, as early as 5 years, they're already riding truck or tractor. 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, but he's learned or he has already learned the act of driving a tractor. So he grows with it. By the time he's 20, he already has 15 years experience in farming. By the time he's 20 years old, he already has 15 years experience. So you can't match him now. Where you there around 30 years. Okay, I want to start farming now. He's a young man who is 20, already has 15 years of unnegotiated experience of farming. All his life, he drinks, he dreamt, he eats farming. And guess what? It's only one thing. They can plant sorghum. Their generation, since 18-something, what they have been planting is sorghum. Sorghum. So how do you want to compete with that kind of person? Whose entire generation, from his father to grandfather to great-grandfather, what they plant is just sorghum. And then, you know what? They stay on it. So, they kept focus on it. They have been able to revolve themselves. They've been able to come up with machines. They research things that can make them improve. Today, they plant sorghum, not for their community alone, not for their country alone, for the whole entire world. Now they are going to mass. They will also feed people who are in mass with their own farm. So, you can see that level of excellence. those are I just have to say that so that you can understand the kind of mentality you need to have for you to be able to succeed in anything. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very tough. You yourself, you have to be ready to be tough and say, look, this is what I want to do. And damn it, I will do it. Regardless of what I face, I am going to succeed in it. So that decision is entirely relies on you. And of course, I've talked about funding. I've talked about the fact that there will be challenges. I've talked about the fact that you need to have that resilient spirit, that determination, that focus. We've talked about that. And then once you now start, don't scale up too quick. Just be humble. Humility is the benchmark of everything. I think Pastor mentions it. Some people, once they start making money, the next thing is that, I need to change my friends. These my friends. I don't know, they don't understand things. They don't understand a new level I did now. You get? So don't be in a hurry to change. Stay focused. Because you know what, like me, people have asked me, why is it that I'm so, if you come to where I am, in Lugbe we own almost the whole streets. In Guaripa there, more than half of the, most of the properties are owned by us in where we are. And then here, we are the owner of Mar-a-Lago here, the whole city that we are building. We have one now in about 800 hectares in Utu City. So, but if you come, I've seen people who come and say, look, Oga, no, not you, I mean the chairman, the MD of the, I'm the MD of this. No, you don't understand. See, what we are saying is that we really want to talk to the person who is behind this thing. We need to see him. That is real. Let your story be like that. Continue to be honor zooming. Let them not be able to decipher you at one glance. Continue to be unassuming. Be humble. Put your head down. Because what for me, what makes me to continue to have that spirit of humility is the fact that I have seen people who are far ahead of me. I've seen people who have achieved so much and they are still who they are. So why do you have to achieve small? And I also observe that those who make so much noise, I think Pastor alluded to it when he was on the pulpit, are people who don't have projects. My brother, if you get project, you don't get money. We are building 3 hotels. We just finished 2. One has also come up in Lagos. We have theater, because I observe we don't have theaters in Abuja. And then we started with 2 massive theaters like the one they are doing at Hilton. You know, so continue to have project. Okay, we want to do, when we finish, we now say, okay, let's do a tower. We started the tower there. We are going 14 floors. So when you want to, if you feel that you have so much money already, go and start more projects and see whether you have money. So the more projects you have, the more humble you continue to be. Because you will need money now for those projects. No matter, and that's the spirit. Because when you see Dangote, he's in Ethiopia, he's in this, that's why he's always looking for, Dangote still they look for money. The reason is because he kept expanding. And for us, the satisfaction should be the human development that you have created. We currently have over 600 staff, which is good. So you measure yourself by the number of families or people or human capital you have been able to form. Because those are the bases that you can use to really know your worth as a company. It's about human development. So, but if you have a lot of people who are on the internet who don't literally have time, and then you just see them, they don't have projects. You see them, they grandstand so much and all that. It's because if you truly, really have projects, my brother, you're not going to get money. You go look for money. So, humility has to be there. We have to be humble. Don't start saying, this one don't do my level again. People need to see through you and see that, yes, this guy is humble. Because it's part of the criteria. If you feel that those who you have sold some little things and then you're on top, you don't pass it, it's a lie. He may not be able to do much for you because you're on top, but he can have somebody who can have somebody, and somebody who can have somebody who can do something. So that's the chain. So everybody must matter. Everybody must matter. Nobody is too small. Like when I had that encounter that he was saying, to be honest with you, I didn't know it was. In fact, not until this morning, I never knew he's a big pastor. All my thinking was that, I said this, but now I said, this man a general overseer, not be smart, you know. Because his humility was just second to none. And then he met me that morning. I just also told him. And then he was asking, are you the owner of this? I said, yes, sir, but this is what. And then we talked. He was just looking. I observed that he was looking at me. But that's how it should be, because at that point, it was the reason why I'm succeeding. So those things have to be there for every encounter you do. Don't get too carried away. Don't get carried away, because the challenges are going to be there. We have challenge for those of us who are truly in the business and then who really are doing it. The challenges are always doubting from day one. It only evolves, like I said. It will just change one phase to another. If you do now, if a guy say, okay, he wants to be in London, another branch in London, another this in this, the challenges will still expand, because he needs to pay some things in London, he needs to pay this or pay. That's how it is. So the more you expand, the more you challenges. Yes, at the end of the day, in the overall, maybe when you were starting, you were grappling with things like if somebody comes and tell you 100,000, you go begin to look at them like one. But maybe now, if you have 10 billion, you will just say, okay, accountant, we have up to 10 billion there. Okay, but we need 11 or 12. You get what I'm saying? So that is it. But you still need money anyway. That's a constant factor. You always need. But the level of need might now be different. So I want to leave us on that note that please, it's never a time wasting having conferences like this. In fact, if we have all the churches doing this, I think by now we'll have built a multitude or generation of employers that can really truly drive our micro space. So the thinking has to be different. Please, in business, you don't have to seek love, but you seek respect from people. Anybody who's loved by everyone is not a true leader. Let people respect you. There has to be mutual respect. Respect them, respect you. That is it. But not when you think that everybody is going to love you. No. So businesses are built on those core foundations, those core bases. You have to be shrewd. You have to be a little bit aggressive, positively aggressive. And then don't be circumspect. Don't be too okay. Don't be relaxed. And then don't say, I'm already there. I think I probably must have missed that story. And then someone called me and said, look, chairman, this business I want to do is 10 billion naira. Can you bring your own 5? Let's bring 5. Let's do it. The profit is. I now told the person, he was telling me on phone. He was in my office. I said, look, my brother, I'm not interested. I'm already battling with something. Because at that point, that was when I started having this retirement thinking. That devilish thinking that I was already, I never knew that it's a life journey. This race, just like race of pastoral race or race of heaven. Business race is what? Till once you get into it, you never stop. It will just change. Yes, you can get to 60, 70 and then your level of investment changes. You relax a little, maybe your kids or the board of directors step in. But you never truly, really retire. It's a race of a lifetime. So at that point, I just started having that. That conversation till today dealt me a very big blow. Because the young man said, look, but chairman, you don't have to pay. Don't worry, I'll pay the first one for you. Maybe the second one, which will come in a month. You have the platform now, just tell people. I shouted on him. I remember it was M-Shell. I said, look, I don't want. But do you know my age? I'm tired, though. But today, when I look back, I'll say, look, oh boy, I regret that decision. I suffered seriously for that decision. Because when I saw what happened in that business, I was just like, Kai. So that is it. And that's why you see that people like Dangote, they never really stop. Because the day you stop, the day you start having problems. So you never truly stop. You only metamorphose gradually to another level. So you know that, have it at the back of your mind that you are signing a lifetime contract. Just like you do with marriage, with church, with everything. Is a lifetime. It's till there do us. You can expand. You can metamorphose. You can divert. You can expand. You can even do diversification. But the truth is that you must continue. You must crawl. You must walk. You must run. But never stop. So on that note, I want to sincerely thank the pastor for giving me this platform. Yeah. To share a few things about what I think I know, and then my story with you. I hope that I've been able to pick one or two things that will be useful to you when you have made that decision. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.